If you're wanting to become new again, born again, stronger version of yourself, better than you are today, you got to tear down and destroy the old. Subject yourself to resistance. That's the only way strength happens, is through overcoming resistance. You got to work hard. If you're going to the gym, and I'm being literal when I talk about lifting, you go to the gym and you're not working hard, you're wasting your time. To me, there's nothing more important than knowing how to live, why we're living, what our purpose is. We should be out there working, fighting, grabbing, doing, getting. Stop, think. You are not your feelings. You are not your thoughts. Allow them to come and pass through you, but don't engage right away. Stop. Take your time, think, and then act. Notice the movement in your body. Notice your breathing. This has been huge for me because I'm a hyperactive guy. I'm an energetic guy. I'm a spontaneous guy. And if I don't stop and catch myself, notice my breathing. Am I breathing from my chest? Am I breathing from my throat? Or am I breathing from my balls? It's going to make a tremendous difference between how I'm able to express myself and what's received. My father grew up in Belize, and there were no supermarkets. If they didn't grow it, they didn't eat it. And oftentimes, if he didn't help, because he had 10 other brothers and sisters, and it was a struggle living in Belize for him, he just didn't eat. And now, of course, he's got 3 meals a day, lives in America, the land of plenty, but he never forgets, and he always reminds us. He says, look, if you got to go a day without eating, you'll survive. And then he would recount stories of going days without eating as a kid, and he thought nothing of it. Of course, it'd be nice to fill your belly with something, but after a while, the hunger goes away. You were telling me about that. The hunger goes away. I find this significant for a number of reasons. Number one of which is that by fasting, abstaining, moving away from the sensual gratification of constantly having to fill our bodies, we grow a certain kind of strength within. There's a certain kind of resolve, objectivity as well. Being able to see, hunger is coming up in my body, but I don't have to act. Most of what we call hunger is just an emotional response. It's a habit. It's something we've always done. To break a habit is very uncomfortable. Anybody who stopped smoking cigarettes or alcohol, you know that it haunts you. It'll grab you in your weakest moments. And then also today we found that fasting has rejuvenative effects. Autophagy is a process by which your body literally breaks down its old garbage cells that often turn cancerous and rebuilds itself at a more rapid rate. If you're wanting to become new again, born again, stronger version of yourself, better than you are today, you got to tear down and destroy the old and then rebuild from that foundation. When you're really good at what you do, you can get away with being a little tough, being a little different, being a little defiant. Either way, the point is to have a perfect ideal for yourself, transcending all men, especially ourselves. Because if the world revolves around ourselves, or revolves around what we think is right, what we think is good, we'll be lost. Once again, men need other men to look up to. Joseph Campbell said, we're not to run from our shadows, our ugly side, but instead eat our shadow. Take it in and let it nourish you. My father gains power from his shadow because he doesn't pretend like it's not there. And when people pretend like the shadow is not there, he can't stand it. It's very easy in our culture that's been so feminized to look at someone who's doing something wrong and tell them that it's okay. Everybody's different. It's all right. Get up every day and work, and you'll have nothing to worry about. It doesn't matter what you do. It's the momentum that you create by getting up every day and work. And there's a difference between action and activity that I think is important to point out. Because we live in a world where we're constantly told, take action, take action, take action, take action. But I found that most of the action that men take is completely ungrounded and based in fear. And when you're moving in a frantic way, a fearful way, doing the things that you're doing from that sentiment, you're just engaged in activity. Activity is mindless. It's born out of this sense that we must do something. And it's usually fear, because of fear for the future. You know that a cat is laying here, right? So the cat is sitting there. Cats are fucking cool. They sit there, somebody walks by, they might crack an eye, ear might turn backwards, they look at you, and watch you go. Not like a dog. Dog can get up and chase you. That cat will just sit there, nice and cool, calm. But if you sneak up behind that cat, or there's a loud noise, that cat will literally jump and touch the ceiling. Whew. All that energy stored up to act because he knew how to rest. So in action also comes resting. If you find a place in between and get lost, know that you're just steeped in activity. Boundaries are very important, and that's what guarding represents, because without a strong no, which is what a boundary is, a wall is, without a shield to protect himself, a warrior does not have the impetus, does not have the strength, does not have the protection to pick up his sword and say yes in the direction that he's going. There is no yes without a no, without guarding, without protection. One thing you'll notice in most mythology that bring up the story of the garden, where all kinds of beauty happens. Love, creation, procreation. There's always a wall. It's always a walled garden. Because if it's not walled, animals, other people, all kinds of things can come in and destroy what's being created. Create beauty. Be generative. I thought about this the other day, that the opposite of the word degenerate, which is what we see all around us in this crumbling, decaying culture, is generate. To generate is to generate. It's to bring life, it's to do something. Tanner's picture was a big generator, the river. That's to create. To create is to be generate. And every king is a generate king. And the only way to be generative and the way to be creative is to have those boundaries like I spoke about before.